Morning everyone, this is Robert with 50 Years of Chess. It's the 27th of January 2026. The time is 12:09, and I've said this because I just finished this game about an hour ago. It's on chess.com against someone named Bujanglapuk 86, Malaysian person. Could be male or female, I don't really know. I presume it's a male for now, as there are more males than females that play. This was a game that was played a 5-minute Blitz game on chess.com, and I'm going to show you the game. And this is how it went. I was black in this game, so my opponent opened with e4, c5, playing the Sicilian, bishop c4, e6, knight f3, and knight c6. Often white plays d3, knight f3, and then brings the bishop out, etc. But on this occasion, he wanted to open the game up with playing the open Sicilian. CD is usually what I play, but on this occasion, I decided I'd throw the d pawn in to d5. So we took, and I retook the pawn. You can't do anything at the moment except move that bishop. Now the right move would be either bishop back to e2 or bishop to b5 and pin the knight. So they went back to b3. Now you've got to remember here, by doing what I did, I have an isolated d pawn. So I'm going to protect that d pawn in a nice way. This is how I did it. c4, we played bishop a4, and then bishop d7. So by making him go to a4, pinning the knight, I'm able to keep the tempo going by bishop d7, and I'm not losing any ground in development at all. I've just got the weakness on d5 that I have to do something about. Castles, bishop d6, knight c3, and knight to e7, protecting that d5 pawn which that knight was attacking. So he's played rook e1 obviously because he wants to take that pawn, and I want to be able to retake because my knight's pinned. But I was conveniently able to castle here, and now there's no problem with that pawn. Now knight g5 is a weird move. I don't understand what it's about. If they think I'm going to allow that knight to stay there while he brings his queen out, maybe to attack me on h5, he's got another thing coming. So I played h3, and they're going back to f3. So I've also got an exit square for my king. Should he ever get to a point where he might be able to try a back rank mate on me. So I played a6. Now he has to take that knight, or b5 will come, and then the bishop will be lost. So he's taking it, and I'm retaking it with the pawn. Not the knight, not the bishop, but the pawn. And a good move about this is my plan. I no longer have an isolated d5 pawn. The pawn that was on b is now on c6, protecting that pawn. I can move my knight away, and I've got a very, very solid centre. So he's gone bishop e3 and knight to g6. Now I've got my bishops both bearing down on his king's side, which is very nice. Queen d2. I have to be a little bit wary here because he's threatening bishop takes h6, g takes h, queen takes h, followed up by knight to g5, which could be threatening me in the corner. That's kind of a threat of a mate. So I have to just be a bit careful, and I played king to h7 as a convenient way of dealing with it. So he's played h3. I guess that's to stop me playing bishop g4. Not sure. Queen f6. This is to make way so that I can bring my two rooks and connect them onto that e-file, and my game will be almost ready to go forward. As you can see, This is part of the strategy in chess. You can go forward quickly and try to wipe out your opponent and slaughter them and all the blood and guts and everything and try and wipe them out. But you can also play it in a more mature way, I'd like to say that, which is to get all your pieces in the right squares, get all your powerful pieces connected up and concentrating on eventually coming in on the king in this corner on G1. But my pieces aren't yet in the proper places. They're getting there. They're starting to look very threatening, but it takes time. And he's not going anywhere anyway, I don't think. So he went back knight h2. And now this is where it starts to happen. Rook e8, knight e2. This is so he could play c3, I guess. The problem with that is I can go bishop to f5. And I got complete dominance on that b1 h7 diagonal. Of course, he could drive the bishop away with g4, but that would be extremely weakening. So I played rook e7, c3. Now I've doubled the rooks, so everything's in place now. Can you see? I repaired the damage to my central pawns. That's fine, very strong. I've got my two rooks, which are very strong down the centre, controlling that diagonal, and my bishops are really great, bearing down on h2 and h3. I think I've got one position, but I have to demonstrate it, of course. So now he's gone queen to c2, pinning the knight. I could play bishop f5, that would be extremely strong, and he'd have to go back probably, and then I could just bring that bishop down onto d3, but I think I don't need to. The two bishops are behaving in a long range attack on my king side. I don't want to disrupt that. I played king g8, queen back, king g8 again, back again. So now he's gone knight to g3. And I consider this a bad move because once I chop that knight off, bishop takes, pawn takes. Look at what's happened. His bishop is under attack. He could go back to f2, but I think his position is not as good as it should be. Bishop to f2 is probably his best move, but he didn't practice my move first with rook e4, and then he's played rook to f1. It doesn't do anything, it just gives me my queen onto the e6 square, and I'm hammering that bishop 3 times now, and he can't defend it with a rook or with anything, only the knight on g4, but I can kick that out with a pawn on h5, and then the rook bishop would drop. So he's got to move the bishop, and once he moves the bishop, my rook comes into e2, which is what I did. Now this is looking very terminal for him. So powerful, can't touch it. Supported by another rook with the queen as well, and it's very, very bad for him because his queen was covering that bishop on f4, and he's got to move it back. And so now I just take the bishop, pawn takes, and queen into e3. So first of all, the rook came down, penetrating the position. Now the queen has come down, penetrating the position. And this game is going fast. It's gone in the corner, and now I move my queen onto this lovely g3 square, threatening checkmate on g2. Can he do anything? No, all he can do is play rook to g1. Now, he hasn't saved anything. I'm threatening checkmate in 2 moves again with bishop takes pawn check. So he plays the queen across to f1 as a last ditch attempt to try and save his position and stave off the mate. But I've got this nice little move, rook f2, and that's really the end. You can't do anything now, so he played queen to b1 check, which doesn't do anything after g6, and he moved the knight back, hoping that I might take the pawn or something like that, but I don't have to. I just go bishop takes check. He has to take it because it's checkmate. He has to take it, so rook takes and then queen takes, and that was it. So you can see how that powerful attack took place once I had an overwhelming position with 2 rooks, queen, 2 bishops, and a knight as well, and they're all coming down on that side. It's just too much for him to defend. And when you can plan these kind of attacks, you very rarely fail to win. Only if you blunder or leave a piece on pre or something. But that's a demonstration of how to attack an opponent who's not a particularly strong player, and they're just kind of moving pieces around and they don't really know what else to do. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the game, and I'll provide another game for you as quickly as I can. Thank you. Bye.